Well, hello and a very warm welcome to the Derby Arena and to the England Handball Association Men's Cup Final showcase event of the year in what has been a busy weekend for the England Handball Association. It's Warrington Wolves who take on Cambridge. My name is Paul Bray, thanks for joining us today. And indeed, I'm sitting alongside Mark Hawkins, one of our 2012 GB Olympians, former GB Under-20 coach and now coaching professionally in Norway. Mark, this should be an interesting one.
Yes, good afternoon everyone, good afternoon Paul. It's hopefully a very good game we've got in front of us, an exciting tie. Two Premier Handball League teams looking to finish their season off in a best way with some silverware.
It certainly will be. Now, of course, Warrington Wolves have been at the pinnacle of the game for a long time. They've been national champions back-to-back on quite a few occasions. And in fact, they won this title back-to-back 5 times last year. They eventually, London GD, managed to dethrone them, although not in the final. And so Warrington this year have finished 4th in the league. They are going through a period of rebuilding. They've lost some of the players they had previously. They've got a very good youth program, so young players are coming through. And actually, we say they finished 4th. The reality is Cambridge finished 7th in a league of 8. This is in the men's Premier Handball League. But actually, there was only 10 points difference between 2nd and 7th. And in fact, if you look at the 4th to 7th, 3 points in it. So it's been a really, really tight league this year, and it does show that these teams are not separated by too much.
That's right, and you said there that we've had a lot of good young players coming through Warrington, and they're almost a regular fixture here in the Cup finals. And their youth team played here yesterday. They had a successful time. They won the under-19 competition, and we'll see quite a few of those young players playing again today. And again, Cambridge, they've got as you said, it's very close. Only 3 points separated them in the league. So it's, Cambridge have been through. They've beaten a couple of teams that finished high above them in the league so far, and they're on to the final. So they've maybe had a little bit more cup form than they have league form this year, and they've got a good chance. And like we said, it's a very close game. The league table separated them by a few positions, but actually the same amount of points as it was positions. So it's going to be a very close one, I think.
It certainly should be. Of course, they've met twice in the league so far this season. Back in November, early on in the league in Cambridge, Warrington won 31-29. Majoros, surprisingly, the Cambridge back player, who's a Hungarian player, scored 12 goals on the day. You've got to feel sorry for him, still ended up on the losing side, while Thomas got 8 and Tyler got 6 for Warrington. And then they met again in the return match in Warrington at the end of March. So really quite recently, Warrington won again another tight game, 30-27, with Nate Green, one of the young products from the club, scoring 9 goals. Tyler got 8, while for Cambridge, Garcia scored 11. And again, you've got to feel sorry for him. That's a big haul, and still ending up on the losing side. But we said earlier, separated by very few points, and in fact, even in the head-to-heads, there's been nothing in it.
That's right. The home and away games very close. Both obviously very, very tight games going all the way down to the wire, and it'd be great for us if we had something exciting to watch this afternoon. I'm sure a prospect of a very good game, but I think there's a few key players on each side. You've seen Majoros and Garcia both scoring, double-figure goals in both the outings. If those two can get going and get the, scoring and put in that kind of performance, it's going to be obviously a high-scoring affair maybe. And then you've got the likes of Ollie Tyler, who's been impressive this season, and he's scored well in both games. So obviously working as a line player there, maybe there's going to be good positions, good situations for him to get some goals today.
So in the cup competition, though, this is the National Cup as opposed to the league. We've talked about that because it really sets the scene in terms of how close the clubs have been in the cup. Both teams were fortunate enough to get a bye in round 1. In round 2, Warrington beat Oxford University 25-22 with Thomas and McDermott, who is the coach of the team, but pressed into action. Of course, Chris, only too well, he was one of your fellow Olympians at the London Games, but he's got injuries galore. I mean, we think he's a bionic man, frankly, but clearly on that day they didn't have too many players, and he came off the bench. So I mean that in a nice way, because he has been trying to turn his attention to coaching this year. Warrington then in the quarter-finals dispatched Carshalton Titans. Again, they gave them a good fight because it was 35-30. Carshalton Titans, of course, play down in the South Division, so the next division down. And then in the semi-finals, it was a 26, I think it was actually 25. It was a 1-goal win for Warrington. A very, very tight semi-final to make it through, with Gillett getting 7 on that occasion, the winger. Gillett, who's had a very good season as well, and is one of several in the Warrington team who have represented Great Britain either at senior or age group level. So this is the Warrington Wolves lineup. Well, players to look out for here. Ryan Thomas is top scorer in the National League at the moment, 69 goals. Fifth top scorer in the league then. He's had 19 in the cup run, the highest of any of the players on the Warrington Wolves side. Jacob Maxted, another one, number 2, plays left wing usually, sometimes left back, but mostly on the wing, 68 goals. He was 6th top scorer in the league, 7 in the cup competition. And then Ollie Tyler, you mentioned earlier, line player, also in the Great Britain team, having an outstanding season, as pinpointed earlier by Chris McDermott, actually as a player who he feels has really been steady as anything, 62 goals, 6 in the cup. I'm not sure he played all the matches there in the cup. So the coach then, Chris McDermott, assisted by Christian Marsh, and Sebi Hesk, missing unfortunately from that, one of the GB under-20s. He's got a knee injury, would have played right wing otherwise, and in fact also missed out on the under-19s final yesterday. Well, they didn't bring him on for a penalty, didn't they? So he just had to stand there and score it, which he did, as he helped Warrington Wolves take that under-19 title yesterday. So that's the lineup for Warrington Wolves. And the Cambridge lineup then, they are coached by Alejandro Castillo Pardo, and helped by Agnes Vogelijn, who was a female coach of the year in 2016, coaching the men's team. A good partnership there, and of course the player to look out for there, Alejandro Garcia. He's had quite a season, hasn't he?
He has some season, 106 goals in the league. It speaks for itself. I mean, we talked about 69, 68 goals for Thomas and Max there playing for Warrington, so you can tell the scope of 106 goals in a season is quite impressive, and obviously that's going to be crucial. If you can have players scoring on that level, and if they can find their form quickly, that's going to be really, really important for Cambridge today.
So he'll be on the right back position. Luckily for him, though, Zsolt Majoros, we mentioned earlier with those 12 goals in the early encounter with Warrington Wolves, 56 goals in the league so far, 10 in the cup. He'll be on the left back side. Takes a little bit of the pressure off, luckily for Garcia, otherwise he really would be under a lot of pressure. And another one, number 8, the vice-captain of the team, José, or as they like to call him, Pepe Ballester, 32 goals this season, 7 in the cup. Worth mentioning Garcia, who scored 34 goals in the cup run, so he's really been quite prominent. And I guess if they can get a hold of him and control him, that's half the battle for Warrington. I'm
sure that's going to be one of the main things that Chris has been saying to him in the change room before the game, to keep an eye on the threat of the shoe, to limit them. You know, we talked about how important they are for Cambridge, but it's the complete opposite for Wolves. You know, they need to contain that threat, and the more they can limit that, the more likely they're going to be successful.
But when you look at the Cambridge lineup, a lot of the scoring is coming down the middle. The wingers less so. It doesn't mean they're not active in building up and creating the space. So here we go then, the teams coming out onto court, and first up it is Cambridge, team who have lost twice this season then to Warrington Wolves, but only by the slenderest of margins, 2 and 3 goals in the league, and hoping that they can turn that around here in the cup and take away the medals. But they are up against Warrington Wolves, who are 5 times back-to-back winners of the cup competition between 2013 and 2017. Here they come. They were also English champions in 2012 under the Salford name as they were then. They've changed since 2015 and 2017, and a formidable lineup they have as well, and a lot of homegrown talent and GB players in there, and some young ones as well, some who've been involved in the under-19s competition. They're the referees in the centre for the match today, Tom Eckersel and Laszlo Voros, who will be in charge of this match, which should be, I think, physical encounter, isn't it? I mean, both these teams are known for really tough defence, quick play. Yeah,
that's right. It's going to be, important, as we said, to stop the shoot to the Cambridge. I wouldn't be surprised to see Warrington start with something quite aggressive in defence, maybe a little bit open, higher up the court. And yeah, like you say, it's going to be important that that physical for them earlier on, so the referees will have to be switched on right from the very start.
So this, the 7th final of the weekend for the England Handball Association, who've had the under-16s and under-19s National League finals here as well. And Warrington Wolves as under-19s won that one. The under-16s this morning less lucky. They were beaten 22-21 by West London Eagles after extra time. But showing really that Warrington Wolves have an amazing structure in terms of coming through. But it's Cambridge who are being introduced first here. And a team who really have come through, and we said despite the 7th place in the Premier League, it has been so tight at the top. Matches have been won and lost by single double-digit margin or 2-goal margins, and it's just been nothing in it for these teams. So, and in a cup final, as we know, anything can happen. We've seen it already this weekend. So that is the Cambridge lineup. You had a Cambridge who beat Chelsea in round 2 after the bye in the first round. They beat Nottingham in the quarter-final by 10 goals, and they beat Manchester Hawks in the semi-final, 35-25 Cambridge, a massive margin, and all the damage done in the first half, 20 goals to 7 up at half-time before Manchester Hawks reacted, but it was too late. So the Warrington Wolves team, who had a real tussle with West London Eagles, but just in the end got through by that goal. And they're going to be quite a formidable force. Toby Venables, the vice-captain, Ryan Thomas, the captain. They tend to share the role. They don't see it as being absolutely key in that respect, but and then you've got Yabila Collins, number 17 there, the defence specialist, a strong lad who came out of the Hackney programme in East London. So with the introductions complete, it will be a quick swing around as the teams will shake hands, and we're just about ready then to get the England Handball Association's Men's Cup final underway here in the Derby Arena with the Warrington Wolves against Cambridge in a match that is much anticipated here, and a nice crowd have turned out here. We've had a nice crowd for the weekend, really. It's for the age group finals and the Shield finals yesterday, and we hope the atmosphere will stay good. I know certainly Warrington Wolves have got their mascot flying the flag. They've had banners, drums, trumpets, you name it. It's been highly entertaining. So there in the centre, number 13 with his back to us, Nate Green. He's had a very busy weekend because he's actually been coaching the Warrington Wolves under-19s and under-16 boys teams, and now he's in action as a player, towering in the centre. What a great player he's been over the years, Nate Green, and you know him well. You've had him in your squad with the GB age group teams. So final preparations for both, and can Warrington make it 3 from 3 wins against Cambridge this season, or will Cambridge finally put that defeat behind them and get on top of the Warrington Wolves on this occasion? So we were talking earlier, we think aggressive defence from both sides, maybe a slightly deep defence for Warrington, who are not afraid to go out and challenge you right up at the front and try and steal the ball, because they play a very fast break game. Cambridge as well, up to some extent, but Warrington in particular, well known for those and quick throw-offs.
That's right, yeah. And
relentless pace.
Exactly, relentless pace. And we've seen it in previous cup finals where they've used that speed to really get ahead of the game and really open up the score. So they look for that early on. If they can play something quite aggressive in defence, win the ball back, they'll certainly have a rack up the score and keep the pressure on the fast break.
So we are just about ready, and as you've seen, the supporters, we mentioned it earlier, coming in all shapes and sizes and all manner of dress. Here we go then, Warrington Wolves in the black and red stripes throw off the England Handball Association Men's Cup final, playing from left to right against Cambridge, who today are in the blue tops and black shorts. So, as you said, Mark, it's going to be challenging deep defence, and indeed Cambridge start with Ballester right at the front of a 5-1 defence. Not too deep though, he's about 10 metres out, looking for the line, under pressure. They've managed to keep the ball though. And early indications of what's to come here. Some uncompromising blocking there by Zsolt Majoros, the back player. Looking for the line. Oh, brilliant play! Tyler quickly off the mark. Beautiful finish. 21-year-old Tyler. 7th goal in the cup competition. The player identified by coach Chris McDermott as having a particularly outstanding season in a team of players who've all had a good season.
Yeah, brilliant movement there, and excellent pass in from Venables. Just took the defender away, and Tyler was good enough just to move into the open space he created.
Well, you said a deep defence. I mean, this is extremely deep. It's going to be a yellow card early on. No surprise there. I'm afraid occupational hazard when you're playing in this event, and it's Ollie Tyler who's picked that up.
Yeah, we said Warrington might open up with something aggressive. A lot of their goals come through the middle, Cambridge, so this is just certainly to block that out and try and force the chances to the wing.
Well, Venables and Collins at the front of the defence. Collins races off as the ball is being retrieved. Zoltik looking for the line. Oh, did well. A little flick of the hand into the wing. Oh, it's all in the wrist. Incredible goal there. Morgan Gillett spun his wrist around and just dropped it over the shoulder of the keeper.
Yeah, lovely finish, Morgan Gillett on the left wing there. But again, good play. We identified Ollie Tyler at the start, and he did really well to collect the ball, the pass in there. Good line player like that gives you just a big option when you can play into him, and was really aware just to play out to the corner and to find Morgan.
Into the wing. Keeper saves it. Did well. As Ryszek, Polish keeper for the Warrington Wolves team. The other one, Zoltik and Jack Booth. They've actually got 3 goalkeepers on the bench today, Warrington Wolves. Not that they're expecting any trouble, I don't think. Lovely. Goes around. Oh, and again, well, he started tough, Majorosh, and he's not letting up. He's got a yellow card. The only thing is, of course, is that you defend hard, but Warrington Wolves can soak it up, can't they? Well, both teams can. Oh, good cover. Cambridge there causing a few problems as Ballester stays stuck to Nate Green. And just as he looked for the cross, he realised he couldn't make the pass.
That's right, yeah. They're trying to put a bit of pressure on the right back Green here just to open up Irving and Venables to see if they're going to be probably the lesser of the outside shooting threats from Warrington. So if they can force them to shoot a little bit more, they obviously feel like they'll have a little bit more joy.
Ball stolen, but unfairly, say the referees, as Tom Ecclesall points up court, and it stays with Warrington Wolves. Tyler moves towards the centre. They're individually marking at the moment Venables, and a poor pass that's gone out of play in Cambridge break. 3 minutes 45 played so far. It's 2-0 to Warrington Wolves. Cuts towards the middle. Oh, goes down under Collins, so he gets a yellow card. Yabila Collins, who started as a back player, come line player in the Hackney programme. He was quite a find for them, really, wasn't he? He came out of a school programme run by Hackney Council, and here he is, a few years on, in the final of the National Cup. Oh, he did well, but his arm was pulled down. I'd have been tempted to give him a free throw, but the referee unsighted at the back.
There was a lot happening in the midst of there, and it didn't look like it was too easy for the goalkeeper to the referee to work out what happened.
And Nate Green with a fierce shot there, trying to put it over the head of the keeper. And then tried to follow up, but no luck there. And it's Graham Jack who's in goal. Neither one of the Cambridge keepers particularly tall. I mean, Jack is 174, and Pierre Laroffi, the other one, 171. I think they may try and look for the corners. Great save. Karol Ryszek looks for the long pass. It's not really on. Gillett's not even looking back because he knows he's being tracked all the way. Nate looks to the line with Tyler. Two know each other very well indeed. Lovely connection. Quite a few of these players, of course, will be in the Great Britain squad, who will head off to play in the Emerging Nations Championship next month. They say it's an attacking foul, but referees say, well, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. He was hanging on. So Venables. Nice loose ball. It's gone out of play, but it's come off a Warrington player. It's Nate Green who's charging off every time, not being used in defence at the moment, as Collins takes up that role at the front. And it's almost like it's a 4-2, but it's alternating between a centre and the number 2 defenders, each side coming up and then staying there.
That's right, as the Cambridge team have been putting a second line player in, Garcia coming in from right back has been given the opportunity for Warrington to come a little bit higher against the 2 back players. So,
no goals yet. 6 minutes played for Cambridge. Although that said, Warrington Wolves haven't had a goal for a little while now. That's come off the wall. Collins goes out to the side. It's a throw-in, and possession stays with Cambridge. Cambridge, who won both their quarter-finals and semi-finals by 10-goal margins. Other emphatic victories. If anything, really coming on strong at the back end of the season. Another good save by Rishek. Tries to go through again. Absolutely fierce defending and a passive play call by the referees. When the arm goes up, you've got 6 passes to get rid of the ball. That's the rule. Oh yes, completely unsighted shot around Collins, but then pants it into the side netting. Such a shame.
It was.
Just couldn't quite get his wrist around it.
Exactly, and that's what the defence is there to do from Warrington. That's what they're doing. They're putting pressure against these shooters, and Garcia Moyoras are just not really able to find their range at the moment. It's taken away the main threat from Cambridge.
So Ed Irving, they're going down heavily on the way back. Oh yes, beautifully played into the right wing, and Ryan Thomas gets his first of the game. That's 20 goals now in the cup competition for him. He was part of the team that won the cup in 2016 and 2017. Looking for his 3rd gold medal in cup competition. Across the way. Good block again. They're throwing everything at them, aren't they, Warrington here? All those high shots, nothing's gone through.
Yeah, we've mentioned already how Nate Green's coming off in attack for your Billy Collins to come in. He's already had an impact against the impressive Moyoras, but it's yeah, he took blocked one shot, hit him straight in the stomach a little bit earlier, and seemed to get amped up a little bit by it. You know, these defensive specialists like to, you know, every stop, everything that goes for them just builds that confidence and builds that energy for them.
I'll try again, and at the moment, Garcia just hasn't managed to make any mark on the game, has he? They really are closing him down completely. So 3-0, slowly but surely, Warrington just edging their way ahead, but nothing is ever done until the final whistle, as we saw in the last match. Oh, quick pick up, that was beautiful into Gillett, he's got a little bit of space, oh, class! Spins the ball around the keeper. That was beautifully done.
Yeah, Morgan Gillett started really well on the wing. A couple of shots like that will build the confidence, and yeah, really well executed finishes from Morgan both times.
Oh, 4-0, and still Cambridge haven't managed to find the back of the net. Oh, nearly stolen. Couldn't quite control it, though, Venables. Another one who's won this competition a couple of times with Warrington Wolves. Takes one for the team there, and of course at the back, Ollie Tyler, line play 1.98 meters, a bit of a towering block to try and get over. Collins isn't exactly short himself. Ball is stolen unfairly, says the referee, as Oliver Holway is fouled. And that's blocked. Ball is stolen. Tyler's away, but he's got one defender in front. Releases the ball. Caught in the air and shot before he landed by Ryan Thomas, his 2nd, and it's 5-0. And Cambridge are struggling, and no surprise that they've called the team timeout off the back of this goal. That was some finish. Some finish,
and well played on the fast break as well. It looked for a moment as if Ollie Tyler was just going to run down a bit of a blind alley there, but did well. Ryan Thomas came in support, and good execution to finish it there. It's been an interesting start to the game, like we talked about. The main threat probably from the backcourt shooters from Cambridge, and Warrington have nullified it, and that's been the story so far.
I mean, what do you say if you're the coach now of the Cambridge team, Alejandro Castillo-Pardo?
It's a tough one, you know. We've said at the start Warrington are used to being in these finals, and you know they've had a good run, you know, winning 5 in a row, and it feels natural to be here. This is the first final for Cambridge in a number of years, and they just needed to get on the scoreboard early. I think they just need to find something now where they can go back to get one of their good shooters in a good position. They need to try and maybe bring in a second line player to flatten this defence a little bit and get Moyoras or Garcia over the middle and get them into onto the score sheet.
Well, of course, it certainly helps. A lot of the Warrington Wolves players have been in cup finals before, you know, in this environment, you know, big arena, a few more spectators, television cameras. So they've got the experience, even among some of the young players, because they've had 18-year-olds, they've had 17-year-olds play actually in cup finals. So
that's right. You see even some of the under-19 players. Number 9 Ed Irving played you know, this is his second senior final, second, you know, 2 years in a row playing in the youth finals as well. So, you know, very comfortable on this stage.
Oh, Collins is fired up, isn't he? Someone better take the batteries out, I think.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. He's already on a yellow card, and a few remonstrations from the Cambridge bench that maybe was a bit over the top and could have been a 2-minute suspension.
I think we've got a dead leg, have we? And that's not looking too good, I'm afraid, for Florian Charbeth. And being held off. It's off the back of that very, very tough challenge by Collins. Back on comes Garcia. I mean, their top scorer. I mean, it took him off initially, and now they've had to readjust, obviously, with the injury to Charbeth. But
yeah, using him as a line player might not be the worst idea. With a a bit taller there, a bit more of a threat, a little bit of an easier pass in maybe.
And got a 2-minute suspension there, and it's Morgan Gillett for that foul, push in the air. I think that was an easy decision, and it's going to be a penalty. Change the goalkeeper, and in for Warrington Wolves comes Jack Booth. Well, finally, we're just past the 10-minute mark, and Cambridge get off the mark.
Yeah, important to finish that, and important for Garcia to get the goal and get Cambridge moving now. Gives them a little bit more impetus, and with the 2-minute suspension as well, it's a good chance maybe to go on a run with a couple of goals, maybe 2-0, 3-0, and get themselves back into the game. So
Bruno Moura, Portuguese player, is right at the front of the 5-1 defence that's gone even deeper now while they're short-handed. Long-range shot, that's comfortably parried away. Now a bit of pace now in the Cambridge attack, which we haven't seen. Clips the bar, but it stays out. Well, he beat Rishek on this occasion, but sadly the metalwork was in the way.
And that's where we see the power of Majoros coming over the middle. So obviously with Warrington now having a player off, they're not able to defend as high, and he was able to get into his more natural shooting position. It's quite impressive to see.
So Tyler, who was starting wide and out of the way off the line, comes in on the line. Well, short-handed or not, they just keep going. And Ryan Thomas, 3 goals now for the 23-year-old. Top scorer for Warrington Wolves in the cup competition, and indeed in the league this year, and showing why there from a decent angle. And Rishek is just mopping up everything on the wing at the moment.
It's exactly how the coach would have planned it, exactly what Chris would have wanted from this type of defence. And even when they're a player down, they're condensing, they're closing in the middle and forcing these balls out there. And yeah, Rishek has been fantastic so far with 4 saves.
So a 5-1 defence has become a 5-0-1 defence as Nate Green is being individually marked. That wouldn't have counted anyway, as Ryan Thomas managed to get in behind the defence but steps on the line, and so the ball retrieved by Graham Jack. And meanwhile, Warrington Wolves are now back to full strength as Gillett runs back into his wing. Immediately the deep defence is returned. Collins is back, looking for a little shot around the line player. Second goal, 12.5 minutes played.
Majoros there with his first goal of the game, able to just whip it nicely around the defender like he did just earlier on when it went into the side netting, but executed this time.
Penalty is given for Warrington Wolves, a foul on Ollie Tyler in some space at the back. So what can Graham Jack, the goalkeeper, do here? Who celebrated his 34th birthday yesterday. If he was hoping for a late birthday present, it's not started too well today. And Nate Green cleverly just drops it down. Took him by surprise, really. No pace on it, just took it very quickly.
Yeah, no fake, just shot straight away. 7-2 to Warrington now, and really Cambridge need to start scoring, get into the game quickly, otherwise this could, as we said, Warrington can pull away very quickly with fast break goals.
7-2 then the score to Warrington. The ball is stolen. Quick look up by Irving, who was in the team that won the under-19s together with Jack Booth, the goalkeeper, in yesterday's competition, the under-19s National League, with a solid win against Nottingham. And it continues relentlessly. Warrington Wolves. This time it's Toby Venables, joint captain of the team, with Ryan Thomas, a role they share, and they clearly shoulder their responsibilities well as well. Well, it's fair to say that Warrington's defence has been absolutely formidable so far, and great tactics there by Chris McDermott. And even when they do find a way through, Rishek has been on terrific form in goal.
Yeah, with an open defence like this, it's, you know, it works so well when you can go against the shooters, but you need the goalkeeper to step up and save some of the closer balls. And yeah, Rishek has been fantastic backing up the defence whenever they have breached it, Cambridge.
Little handoff. Oh, nearly stolen, tried to bounce it now that he's spaced at the back, and it was almost a lob shot, but he's fouled in the act of shooting. And it's going to be a free throw for Ballester, 31-year-old Spaniard, who's been at the club now for 4 years. 7 goals in the cup this season for the number 8. Comes in again now, tries to pass, but he's under pressure, suddenly sees the defenders move right up, and in a moment of panic, he's trying to pass the ball over the defenders, no chance.
Yeah, that's what they're doing very well as well, Warrington, is when the ball's going, the next player's rushing up, and they're putting pressure on the receiver as well as the passer, and it's so difficult there to find any rhythm in the attack.
And it's really good. It's proactive defence, isn't it? You don't sit back, you're constantly waiting to go up and put the back players under pressure. Didn't get too much power there, and he's taken a hit where it hurts, I think. Ed Irving just stopped the clock. Just need a little bit of time to recover. Ed Irving, as we said, who was in the team who won the under-19s competition yesterday together with Jack Booth, played a great game.
Yeah, he's shouldering quite a responsibility starting the game for Warrington. He's one of their young players that's come through their system, playing in the under-16s, under-19s. He's worked with some of the youth national teams and been very good. Been quite an impressive performance so far today, composed on the ball and creating some good chances.
In fact, Irving is together with Sebi Hesk, who's not playing today because he's got a knee injury. We're in the under-18s GB team who took silver at the IHF Trophy in Kosovo earlier this season. It was a great achievement for them. Nate Green all the way through. He just couldn't get his arm back up to get the shot away. That had to be good, solid defending to stop him from going all the way through. That was by Alejandro Garcia. He was the England Handball Player of the Year in 2016. Right up in the top corner. Well, when Nate Green puts them that far up, I'm afraid the goalkeeper's not quite going to reach them.
No, it's switched over to left back now, Green, and yeah, that's a fantastic finish. A lot easier for him to shoot from that side, and yeah, it just took him one attack to get his first goal.
So 9-2 the scoreline now. 16.5 minutes coming up now in this this match. If you're watching handball for the first time, it's 2 30-minute halves. And Collins absolutely, but he always is, isn't he? He's an absolutely passionate player, wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's right up there. As you say, you sometimes just need to watch it because he can sometimes get a little bit carried away. But so far, so good. Defence is holding very firm indeed. Looking for the line, that was never going to reach, and the break is on. Gillett is away, but well covered that time on the far side. Cambridge, who were 4th in the league last season, 3rd the year before. I mean, they've been there or thereabouts. So now we've got Jacob Maxted, who's come on interestingly, playing at right back. It's not exactly his usual position, but meanwhile on the left wing, service as usual. Gillett. He's got a rubber wrist, hasn't he? The way he can spin it round and just get that little extra spin.
Incredibly tight angle there. Didn't really have many other options to shoot, but did really well to finish it off and score there.
Third goal for him. Well, we're coming up to 18 minutes played in Cambridge, 2 goals.
They're just struggling so much against the defence. There's not a lot more to say. They just haven't been able to find a way to get on the scoreboard. And 1 goal was from a penalty and just 1 from Mioros from backcourt. So they really need to find a way to open up and flatten this Warrington defence a little bit more.
I guess it does eat away at your confidence a bit. We can see there from the shot where it's put into the side netting, where the players are starting to really struggle in terms of... Nate Green now in the central position. Venables has moved left for the moment. Jacob Maxted, usually left wing, left back really, but that won't count. He was over the line. That was unlucky. Ollie Tyler doing everything right except that last step. Again, solid defence. Ollie Tyler, he's just had an error at one end and he's immediately down the other end making amends.
And this is why McDermott's highlighted him as such an important player. I mean, we've talked about the strength of Collins in defence, but when they're playing open, they're playing higher up the court, Ollie Tyler has a great deal more work to do at the back there, and you can't play a defence like this without a solid base at the back there. You see him again pushing them out every time the ball comes into the line. He's been fantastic so far at both ends.
So the referee says take that one again. The Warrington players straying a little too far forward. You've got to be 3 metres away from the free throw, and Collins gets in behind. He's given away the penalty. Ran through the area to get in the way of the line player. And the second penalty of the game. And it's Alejandro Garcia who scored one earlier. Can he do this again? He's not managed to score from open play despite 34 goals in the cup this season. Off the post. No goal. Comes off to the side. It's a throw-in for Warrington Wolves, and even the easier shots are not going in. It didn't touch the keeper, did it? Oh, he did. I think he may have just got a foot on it.
Well, they gave the ball back to Warrington anyway, so I'm sure the goalkeeper will claim it after the game's finished. But yeah, those are the chances you have to score at Cambridge. You need every opportunity you can, and those free ones are essential.
Well, I'll correct myself because it looked like they'd given a 2-minute suspension to Collins. They haven't. And in fact, there was some claim from the Cambridge bench that it should have been. And they may have some claim on that, but it is what it is. And so play continues. I mean, interestingly, for all the strength and depth of the Warrington team, they don't have too many left-handers. Oh, well, ironically, his arm was held, Nate Green, but it almost helped to catapult the goal, and the goalkeeper had no idea where that was going to go. Three goals now for Nate Green, and Cambridge are absolutely at a loss here to find any solution against Warrington Wolves, and that's a 2-minute suspension for an earlier foul for Alejandro Garcia, the captain of the Cambridge team, and it's just not quite going their way at the moment.
And this could get even harder for them now with a player down. The defence can rise up further and further and apply more pressure.
I mean, it's looking almost now like a very deep 3-2-1, although slightly disconnected, but space maybe to go through the back. Well, they used it well. Jose Ballester gets his first of the game. The Spaniard seeing an opportunity. We just said it's a 3-2-1, but very deep and disconnected. It was disconnected from the front.
They took the opportunity there. Warrington try and open up maybe too much, open up that gap between Collins and Venables, which just hasn't been there so far in the game. And Ballester was great speed coming through the middle there to get his first goal of the game.
Oh, the irony is, goal comes while they're short-handed. Nate Green, oh, what a run! 4 goals for the 20-year-old.
Yeah, waited till the block was in the air and just bounced around him. A lot more space there when they're down a player, and 12-3 now. It's looking fairly bleak for Cambridge unless they can find a way to get a few stops and scores quickly now.
When you think that in the league, you know, there's been 2 and 3 goal wins for Warrington. That's nice over the head of the keeper. Well, maybe they should keep one of their players off court anyway and play short-handed. Seem to get more goals while they are short-handed. It's Ballester again. This time, instead of going towards the middle, goes around the outside.
Just a little bit more speed at the left-back position has worked there. Just, you know, having Mayoris going up against Collins, probably a little bit similar speed-wise. Ballestaire's had a little bit more speed, and he's been able to break through a couple of times now. So that might be something to look forward to when they're back to full strength, Cambridge.
Tyler couldn't get in between there, won't count. The whistle's gone already. It'll be a free throw. Oh, bit of space there, clips it off the bar. It's still in play, and Cambridge are going to get it. They got to play all the way up front. Oh, intercepted. All they needed was a quick pass. There were 3 to pick from, and instead it goes into the wing. Beautifully done. It looked like he was going to hammer the shot into the back of the net, and instead at the last second breaks his wrist back and runs it off his fingertips. That was class.
Very good again from Gillett, and the style of the goalkeeper fits right into his strength here. He's got a lot of tricks, as we've seen so far, and a smaller goalkeeper, like you mentioned earlier in the game, has to be a little bit more active, a little bit more, offering a little bit more further forward against him, and Gillett's really just taking advantage.
Gillett with 4 goals now, and he's already won the Cup 3 times, actually. First time back in 2015. We talked about how young they start them in Warrington. He's one of that product. They are back to full strength again now, Cambridge. Into the wing, bit of a narrow angle there, and not much he could do about that. There was Castaigne.
Yeah, off the post there from Castaigne, but we saw in the replay there, Ballestaire getting into the middle of the speed. Now he's got a little bit of advantage over Collins and starting to create more opportunities from the left-back position.
It's also interesting, they've given up on the 5-1 defence, haven't they? They've gone back to a 6-0. Oh, maybe because Tyler is causing so many problems at the back and they've got to close down the line, but we can see it there, and they are doing better with that. Tyler is finding a little bit less space since they've shifted to that 6-0. But on the other hand, of course, it means the back players, if they can get those shots going, will do well. Oh, good save, but it's a penalty. Clearly interfered with in the act of shooting Tyler.
Yeah, very good save by Graham Jack, but again, we see the strength of Tyler, just one-handed, holding the defence off with one hand, taking the ball in the other hand, and really, really efficient.
So Nate Green steps up to take the penalty. Absolutely hammers it for his 5th goal of the game. And the scoreline moves on with 5 minutes of the first half remaining. It's a 10-goal lead for Warrington Wolves. Well, they've just really got to keep that pace going in attack, but they're not finding the space. That's the problem. There's an example of how they run in and then have to pull up. Oof! Rishek there nearly being beaten by the pace, and we've got a 2-minute suspension for Collins.
Yeah, we said with you, Billy Collins, he had a yellow card earlier on in the game. There's a couple of times where he could have maybe had a 2-minute suspension already, and yeah, we noticed after Cambridge had a 2-minute suspension that Ballestaire went to the left back, and that speed was causing more of a problem for Collins, so it's no surprise to see him get a 2-minute suspension there.
He was already on the yellow card. So closing stages of the first half here, as Cambridge just simply have never got into this game. Warrington hit them very early and very quick and very hard. And we talked about the relentless pace of Warrington Wolves. It just never stops. 10-goal lead, but they're still going like a steam train. That, though, has gone wide. And Cambridge need to just get the ball. That's not the greatest of passes, but luckily it's all picked up by Ballestaire and into the wing. Good save. Rishek goes out to the side for a throw-in, and he's having a blinder in goal.
Fantastic. Really, really good save again. And these chances, a player up for Cambridge. From that, the penalty, a few from the wing that they've had, they're the ones that they really need to close the game down and close this ever-increasing lead that Warrington are building.
Well, they are short-handed. A bit of space for the back line coming in there, and Mayoros gets his 2nd. Line player Oliver Holloway was trying to make space for him, but it worked in the end. They still have 40-odd seconds, a little bit more than that to go on the power play. Cambridge could do with sneaking the ball back here quickly into the wing. That's not going to count. Unfortunately, there was an attacking foul for the pass by Jacob Maxted. Now they've got to come in fast. He knows it, Ballester is trying to get... Oh, and he does too many steps. He was steaming in as Majoros was trying to pull the defence over. Just what they didn't want to do while they got the power play.
No, again, more good chances to try and close the lead wasted, and just like you say, just not quite the connection there between the back players from Cambridge so far.
I tell you that Schrabet, who went off with that dead leg earlier, is ambling at the back, trying to walk it off. It's not looking too promising. He's been getting a lot of treatment, and that's a penalty. Just as Warrington Wolves have got back to full strength again. It was Nate Green who ran on, and in fact the first thing he can do when he's come back on again is take that penalty. This is a third penalty of the game. Just like the first one, didn't give the goalkeeper any time to compose himself, blasted straight away off the whistle. He's shot straight off again as Collins, oh, brilliant pass, and again a save by Ryszek. But Ballester, that's not in any coaching book, is it? Flick of the pass between his legs backwards.
No, brilliantly done, opened up the space well, but again, it's that man Ryszek who's just a brick wall at the moment in the Warrington goal.
Maxted in a really unusual position, but then again on the right back, because we said they haven't got so many left backs, Warrington. That time it doesn't go in though for Gillett. Really Venables will sometimes play on that position at the right back, but they don't really have a huge amount of options, so they do tend to turn it, but let's say it's not holding them up in any way.
No, that's right. With Hesk injured, that's a few of them having to share the responsibility.
Well, that's more like it. The ball's gone in. And we are inside the last minute of the first half. Third goal for Majoros. But still off the pace. Although that said, after the lead got to 10, they've kind of steadied things. But on the other hand, you might say, well, Warrington Wolves may also be trying not to get injured and steady things along. Oh, powerful shot from Nate Green, but couldn't frame that at all. We've got about 15 seconds left. Oh, too many steps and a turnover, and the last word will go to Warrington Wolves. 10 seconds to go. Well, they're trying to individually mark Maxted. Takes a long-range shot, comfortably saved by Jack, and that is the half-time buzzer. And, well, what a performance. It has been a dominant effort by Warrington Wolves who go into the break leading Cambridge 15-6.
Yeah, quite something in the first half from Warrington. We talked a little bit before the game about the story being the battle between the shooters from Cambridge and the defence from Warrington, and it's been the defence from Warrington that's come out quite spectacularly on top so far.
I mean, you have to look and say... So, yes, it's Cambridge who've only got 6 goals in the first half. I mean, Ryszek has played brilliantly in goal, but equally the defence, absolutely formidable. I mean, when you face the big players at the back, they've even got big players at the front, but as soon as you come within 11, 12 metres, you're being hit hard all the time by Warrington.
That's right. At the start of the defence, instead of trying to prevent the opposition from scoring, they're trying to win the ball back. It's a slight deviation maybe from what, you know, Cambridge are playing. They're a little bit closer to the 6-metre line. They're probably being a little bit more protective of the shooters and the goalkeeper, but yeah, Warrington here, they've won the ball back a few times, taken away the strength of Cambridge, and it's really been turned into a battle between the wing players and the Warrington goalkeepers, and Karol Ryszek in goal has come out on top quite brilliantly so far with, you know, a number of good saves from the wing.
Well, plenty for the Warrington Wolves there, supporters to celebrate. And it has been a commanding first half, and I guess the danger is now is to keep the pressure up and not get yourself lulled into thinking, well, this final's already won, and just keep the pressure. And you could hear actually on the bench Chris McDermott saying just that.
Yeah, that's right. You know, Chris's message will have been that, you know, the job's not done. We've got to come out and do the same again. Whereas, you know, for Cambridge, it's going to be completely opposite. They've got to find a way to start again and do something different. So it's Cambridge who get the second half underway here then with that big deficit.
And so difficult as the first half been that Alejandro Garcia, who plays right back but does play on the line for Cambridge, number 14, their top scorer this season, both in the league with a staggering 106 goals. In fact, he is the top scorer in the league, averaging 8 goals a match and 34 in the cup. Really has been kept pretty much out of it with just one penalty to show in the first half. The ball is stolen and it's more of the same from Warrington here. Collins goes off, the defence specialist. Nate Green is back on, who's had a terrific first half and continues in exactly the same vein. So goal number 7 for Nate Green as he beats Pierre Laroffi, who's just come on at the half-time break to replace Graham Jack, but it makes no difference, I'm afraid. Again, the pressure as they get in a little bit too close on the defence. That's more like it. Ballester, the one play really has stood out in the first half. 3 goals for him. Got a bit of pace. Him with Mayoros are trying to restart the Cambridge attack.
Yeah, a small adjustment for Warrington in the second half as they've had to excuse me, move Collins to this side of the court to change the attack and defence substitution, and that allows Ballester to have a little bit more joy against Maxted.
Oh, the height on that was incredible on the line, wasn't it? Ollie Tyler, second goal of the game. And of course, as a line play, he's done a great job. I mean, he's only scored a couple of goals, but he's creating a lot of space. He's such a big line player. It's commanding 2 defenders. And another break, and it's just not quite working for Cambridge. Oh, how did he smuggle the ball through? Ryan Thomas finishes. Yeah, that was an incredible pass.
Gillett's done brilliantly well there, taking 2 defenders with him and then shoved the ball off to Thomas on the line.
No-look pass. The second line player going in now for Cambridge is forcing the defence to come back rather quickly, and that may well be the response they need. It clips the bar, stays out, but a little shove in the back, and that's going to be a penalty. It's 2-minute suspension as well. He seemed to know it already. Ollie Tyler's walking to the bench. He was already on a yellow card earlier, so the penalty will be taken by Alejandro Garcia, who's missed one. Scored the other. He's missed 2 now. Gets a second chance, but he's barged in the process. It's another penalty. Venables, really with nothing to do, he was behind him. It's either push him or leave him alone. He just got tempted to push.
There's not a lot else he could have done there. The collision was already there when they're going for the ball, and yeah, rightfully ordered another penalty.
Oh, saved again. 3 missed penalties. Have they not got another penalty taker? And he's telling the coach every time, I think I've got the hang of this now. I think I know what I'm doing wrong. And have another go.
I think they might have to switch to another one after that, but Rishek has just been the man of the game so far for Warrington.
Has played incredibly. Nate Green goes around looking for a bit of space, doesn't find it this time. Short-handed Warrington Wolves there with no line player. They'll bring someone around when they need it. Tries the long-range shot. Venables comes to nothing. Garcia, they're fouled in the act, and a penalty is given, and this time it will not be Garcia to take it. It is Bruno Moura. Well, he got his hand on it, Rishek, but it wasn't enough this time, and Moura scores his first of the game.
Yeah, just enough to smuggle it in, but again, Rishek there quite imposing in the goal and able to get his left hand, but not quite enough to keep it out.
So this time it's Gillett who goes around. Long range shot. Oh, that's brilliant. Jacob Maxted coming in from the right-hand side. First goal for him, the 22-year-old. Yes. It was 2 medals already to his trophy cabinet, and he's away again, Maxted. 2 goals in quick succession. And it brings up the 20 now for Warrington Wolves. So 5-2 so far in the second half as we come up to 5 minutes played. Well, they did well because it was 2 against 3 attack because they got cornered on this side here, but somehow Ballester managed to suck in the last defender.
That's the first goal from the wing from Barber, and that was an important one to get the confidence back because Rishek has been so dominant there. They haven't been able to score anything. It's important that they start building that confidence in that position again.
Should mention Barber celebrating his 34th birthday today, so happy birthday to him. Although Warrington clearly in no mood to make any gifts.
Max started the second half very strongly, 3 goals. The last 3 goals now for Warrington. And it's been more of the same in the second half.
He's been playing somewhat out of position as well, but still finding the gaps all the way through. And Toby Venables, tough defending as ever at the front. And crashes into Ollie Tyler. He served out that 2-minute suspension a little earlier. Warrington moves out back at full strength. Second line players come in around the outside. That's good play. Ballester's 4th goal of the second half.
Yeah, it was much better from Cambridge that time, able to take the defence one way and quickly move it back the other direction. We saw in the last attack, as you said, Warrington managed to corner Cambridge on one side of the court. Venables has done a very good job splitting the court in half and keeping Cambridge on one side, but that time they were able to swing the ball back quickly and created a good chance for Ballester.
Nate Green crashes off the underside of the post right in the corner, and the ball stays in. He's on 8 goals, top scoring in the game. Brilliant. And it goes underneath, and suddenly Cambridge have got a little bit of a run going here. They needed this. That's Tobias Barber, the birthday boy.
Yeah, these chances now starting to fall for Cambridge. That's important. Builds a little bit of rhythm. We're still probably maybe not seeing quite enough to think they could get back into this at the moment, but a few more stops, a few more quick goals like that is going to be important for them if they're going to have any chance in the last 23 minutes.
Into the line, yes. Tyler, acres of space. And again, Maxted is having a great spell, both with the supply and with the scoring. Just couldn't quite get the ball quick enough into the wing for an angle on that shot. Well, they are coming thick and fast, and that's 3 consecutive goals. Tobias Barber.
Yeah, now he's got the first couple in there. The confidence is coming, and the goals are flying after that. Rishek, just the saves from the penalty in the second half so far, hasn't been quite as good from the wing as he was in the first half, and starting to see signs of Cambridge that we wanted to see in the first half.
Maxted, Green comes around the front of the defence this time. They're trying to mark him, shoots. He's just got the free throw. Finds plenty to smile about. Ollie Tyler comes out, tries to flatten the front of the defence, doesn't quite succeed. Nate goes for the central gap, but Oliver Holloway blocks him. 23-year-old line player. He's just back from injury for the club. And, oh, that is a heavy fall. He's gone down on his right shoulder. Nate Green, and anxious moments for Warrington Wolves. Let's see, he fixes the defender, goes around, and as he takes off. Oh no, it was just after that. Here he comes. Yeah, he fell on his shoulder. He's come off. He's just in the bottom of the picture, but he's just shaking his arm. He seems to be okay. I think with a bit of luck there, he won't be out of action for too long.
Looks like it might have been his hand that he fell on, but yeah, looks to be like he's getting ready to come back into the game.
He's a tough cookie. He's not going to want to stay out of the final. Oh, what a goal! Tobias Barber has just scored 4 back-to-back.
This is what where the chances were coming from Cambridge in the first half, but Ryszek was up to the challenge, and it's Barber's responded. That's an excellent finish over the goalkeeper's right shoulder. But we said at half-time, Warrington had made the game between the wing players and the goalkeeper won in the second half. In the first half, Cambridge's wingers, Tobias Barber in particular, are winning now in the second half.
Well, Nate Green is back on again, and so he slid over the sideline with the ball there. So it's a throw-in for Cambridge, who have possession. Quick shot. Well, suddenly there's a little bit of momentum to the Cambridge attack now. It's Majoros with his 14th cup goal of the season. Well, some relief now. They're well into double digits, Cambridge, after only 6 goals in the first half. But Nate Green showing that he is fully fit again. And that's his 9th goal of the final. Into the line, good play, but he was inside. And Barber continues his good run, although just the finishing there lacking as he put his foot on the 6-meter line. Venables will need to swing back quickly. Ball's heading to go out of play, but Maxted was there, retrieves the loose ball, and this got to start again. Venables into the wing. Ah, good save. Larofi. No luck this time for Irving. Long pass. Tried to release it into the wing. You could see just couldn't get it away, Garcia, but they've slightly upped the tempo, and it's starting to pay dividends. Oh, hard shot, ball's loose. And that's a penalty inside the area, says the referee. So Mura, who scored the last one. And scores that 1-2. Second goal of the game for him, both from the 7-meter line. And keeps the deficit at 10 goals.
Fast start for both teams in the second half, the first 10-12 minutes. A lot of goals coming at both ends of the court.
Is it going to take its toll towards the back end of the half? That's the thing. In the last 10 minutes, knocked away. But somehow Irving's managed to get the ball in his arms taken as he goes to shoot, and it's a penalty. In fact, we may well have another injury now. I thought Nate Green was down and gets up rather gingerly, but he's okay. And in fact, Ed Irving, the 18-year-old, will take the penalty himself. Absolutely hammers it right through Larofi. Don't think he knew too much about it, the goalkeeper. It was just a draft. Ballester into the wing. That's more like it. Lost momentum completely, but a foul right on the end of the line there by Gillett. Gave him a hefty shove. And in fact, the referee points to him and says also, you were inside the area. So Mura with his 3rd penalty. Oh dear. And that's the 4th penalty miss of the game for Cambridge. Although one of them, they got back on a rebound. That's going to be costly.
It is, especially when they're struggling for goals and want to close the gap. Goals when the ball's dead are really, really vital opportunities.
Nate Green gets one shot. The rebound is blocked. The ball down the court. The initial ball fumble, but eventually Francisco Torres gets his first of the game, the Portuguese winger. And nothing that Ryszek could do about that, somewhat on his own to deal with it at that end. Now we're talking about Ed Irving, 18 years old, in the under-19s team, the responsibility of being the playmaker. It's great as Nate Green continues his relentless run. That's goal number 10 for Warrington Wolves as number 13. Having a phenomenal game. It's going to be a free throw only. The defender managed to stay in front of him. That's Maciek Walczak. To the line. Well, they are starting to find ways through now. That's Jean-Daniel Malcor. Been with the club now for some 7 years, the Frenchman. Been used very sparingly this season, but when needs must. And a team timeout for Warrington Wolves, who don't quite have the initiative anymore, though. Cambridge not closing the gap.
No, they're coming a little bit closer. They scored a lot more regularly than they did in the first half, but they're exploiting the spaces that the open defence gives you. Now we saw there from the line player, we had some good success earlier on in the second half from the right wing with Tobias Barber scoring a few goals in quick succession. And now it's just these holes trying to creep into the Warrington defence. We've seen your Billy Collins has come off now for Valchak to replace him as a defence specialist. Not quite as provisioned, not been able to make as many tackles and stop the ball as regularly as Collins did. Not quite so much of a threat in defence. And yeah, it's been much better from Cambridge in the second half. 11 goals for them. It's just come a little bit too late, too little too late maybe. 15 minutes left in the game, a 10-goal lead is quite something for Warrington. They did a lot of their work in the first half, but it remains to be seen whether how close Cambridge can make this, how much pressure they can apply to the Warrington team.
You say with the a 9-goal lead at half-time, there is always that slight danger that you come out psychologically, although you think, I'm still motivated, I'm still focused, but maybe you're not quite as focused as you were at the beginning, and Cambridge have managed to capitalise. And they've said there may be this element of slightly taking your foot off the accelerator we should try and exploit. So here we go, the play resumes then after that team timeout for Warrington Wolves. First of the game.
First of the game for Warrington,
and,
yeah.
It just shows that they are a little bit concerned that they've lost the momentum here and they've got to rebuild it. Ollie Tyler with a bit of pace into the wing, realising that Gillett didn't have a good angle, tried to pass the ball out, but it's intercepted instead, and Cambridge on a fast break here into the wing. Dummies to go around, and this quick defence. They're back so quickly and smothering everyone, but I think we've got a few problems, and it's going to be a 2-minute suspension, the second of the game. For Ollie Tyler, he's going to have to be very careful indeed, because if he gets a third 2-minute suspension, it's a red card for him.
It is. We've said throughout the game how important Tyler is, both on the attack and defensive end. He's been really pivotal in Nate Green scoring so many goals, drawing the middle defender out and allowing that space for Green to come over into that position he likes, just in between the playmaker and left-back position.
Into the side netting. And I guess the question for Chris McDermott is, do you put him back in defence, especially as you've got a bit of a lead, or do you just keep him for the attacks where he's creating a lot of space at the back? We'll have to wait and see. He does have quite a few options if he wants on the line, as it happens, but he's been so influential. There's a cross. Gillett, Maxted. And good pressure now from Cambridge. Taking full advantage of the extra player. Pushing up deep now. And we are past the midway point now in the second half here in the National Cup final. Bit of pace, hangs in the air, but that's well saved by Barishek. And then the follow-up picked up inside the area by Malcor, and it's ball to Warrington Wolves, who'll be relieved. Well, they're still short-handed for another 45 seconds. Pushing up even deeper at the moment. Bruno Moura is sitting right up on Irving, the playmaker. Nate tries to spin off his defender. Majoros. He won't be too bothered with that. He can take the knocks, and he runs the clock down, doesn't it, on the suspension. 15 seconds now before they get back to full strength. Oh, through the middle. And a beautiful pass by Nate Green. Had to be inch perfect. And Irving gets his second of the game. First from open play. No turn around there for Moura, as he has a bit of a tussle with Valchak. Ooh, Valchak may be in trouble there. Caught him very high. And the referees are going to have a quick chat. Let's see there, all round the neck. It's got to be 2 minutes.
I think they might be discussing
they
here
are
whether
having
it's going to be a 2 minutes or a red card.
Could be worse, couldn't it? He's got away with 2 minutes. Well, I think he'll just be relieved and go and sit quietly at the end of the bench and hope they don't notice him again. Well, they had literally just got back to full strength again on the last 2 minutes suspension. Now another one. Ball is loose as it comes off the post, but well picked up as he dives onto it. That was Morgan Gillett. But still, the Cambridge haven't quite capitalised on this. The extra player, they're not closing the gap. They should be hoping to get a couple of goals in that 2 minute spell. Well, Ollie Tyler, the player who's on that two minute suspension, scores his fourth. Coming in from the back this time. And we've got a 2 minute suspension now for Cambridge. A foul on that last one, and it goes to number 30, Zsolt Majoros. He was also already on a yellow card. Although that said, the earlier foul would have warranted it anyway. And so both teams are short-handed now. And in fact, in about 1 minute and 15, when Warrington are back to full strength again, they'll have 30 seconds of a power play themselves. Ballester comes around looking for some space. Nothing on the wing there, well covered. This time it's better. The second attempt goes to lob, but Rishek did well, came out very quickly and smothered the lob almost on the way up.
Yeah, good again from Rishek. Not quite, he came out quite far. The option was there, but not quite enough on it from Torres.
So interesting. Ollie Tyler playing as left back to start off with. He'll drive in after a while. That's going to be a free throw. They'll run the clock down nicely there, Ed Irving. Irving again. Maxted rolls off. Irving, they're keeping the ball moving at the moment. Tyler launches it. Irving, but misses the frame of the goal. Going for the top right-hand side. Turning the bench now, Torres has come off, and Braunschweiler has come on, and 2 minute suspension. Is it for Tyler? It is, and that's going to be the end of his game.
I think it might be Maxted that's come off.
Is it Maxted, you think?
Looks like
yes, it is. Tyler's turned away. He's walking off towards the centre. And that was lucky. I thought for a second he'd got it. It's a penalty anyway, and Moura will take it. He missed the last one. Oh, and missed it again. 5 penalty misses in the final. 2 for Moura and 3 for Garcia. And the goalkeeper who'd just gone in, Zsolt Dijk, is told, well, stay in after that. You may as well. You seem to be a lucky charm.
Earned himself a few more minutes on the court, yeah, with just 10 minutes to go. 12-goal lead. The right-hand post coming to his rescue.
So the Warrington Wolves had got the first suspended player back, so they're not at least 4 against 6, or 4 against 5, I should say. Although Cambridge have now got back to full strength as well, and so it's going to be a free throw. Goalkeeper will take it. Cambridge. Big angle now for the wing. Saved! Dijk, the Hungarian keeper. And table officials have called over the referees. Okay, it's just a technical problem at the table, so maybe a chance, even if they wanted it, for the coaches to call players over and issue a few instructions. I think we've got a very brief 30-second rundown on the clock that's come up, and they'll just let that run out of the way and then carry on. So turning the bench as well, Warrington Wolves, as on comes Ruben Wardle. Wardle, who actually had a terrific under-19s final yesterday. He's one of those, isn't he?
Yeah, very good game yesterday.
Stunning game.
Very good game yesterday, and I'm sure he'll be full of confidence, looking to give some of the same again, coming on to play right back now while they're a player down.
I'm just checking, actually, he got 7 goals yesterday. Irving got 5.
She'll be looking to add to his weekend's tally if he can get a couple more in the last minutes of this game.
So Nate Green is there, the Warrington Wolves still short-handed for another 45 seconds after play's resumed here. Playing without a line. Wardle there, comes off a defender. He was blocked by Mura. Goes out behind for a throw-in to Warrington Wolves. Oh, such a fighter. I mean, he's never down until you can really get him down, and on that occasion he just couldn't close him. 11 goals for Nate Green. He's having a field day.
Yeah, Holway just not able to get his shooting arm down there and just wriggled through, kept his arm free, able to shoot. And as you say, brought up his 11th goal of the game.
I mean, 1.98 m, Nate Green. He's not exactly easy to stop. Graham's down 90 kilos here. I suspect might be a little bit more than that. Oh, intercepted there. Wardle streams forward. He's being chased, but he's got a bit of pace. Oh, puts it wide, though, with a shove at the last, and that could be trouble for Alejandro Garcia. He got in close to him and then nudged him as he came up, and so Morgan Gillett will take the penalty. He's on 4 goals already. Over the shoulder, the keeper. 5th goal for him goes in. And the gap is growing again. Cambridge had a good spell, didn't they? They got back to 9 goals and it was coming back in, and then I'm afraid Warrington Wolves have just got the rhythm back again now, and they're pulling away.
Yeah, that's right. There's been some good spells from Larifay in goal, a few good saves, more so in the second half for Cambridge, but just not enough to be able to start bringing that gap closer. As much as Cambridge have come on and they've scored a few more goals, they got into a bit more of a rhythm. They haven't really been able to knock Warrington out of their attacking rhythm. They've still been able to keep the scoreboard moving. They haven't been able to put them under any pressure and keep them 3, 4, 5 minutes without scoring, and it's just so difficult to keep playing when the gap's not getting any closer.
I mean, team timeout for Cambridge, but really there's just not the time left for them to do too much about it, more than limit the damage.
That's right. It would be a special timeout if this led to a big recovery from here, but I can't see it, unfortunately. Just haven't been able to find that way of winning the battle at both ends of the court so far.
But what a terrific start right at the outset of the game by Warrington Wolves, who just laid their stall out very quickly with that incredible defence, and Cambridge, literally took, what, it was 7 minutes to get their first goal, and
it's such an uphill battle when you're down 10-2 and scores like this early in the game. Like you said, it knocks the confidence. They missed a couple of really good chances, and it just was so difficult for them to get a foothold in the game at either end.
So Garcia, who's been playing on the line for much of the game after not really getting too many chances early on, has now come out to play at the back, which he does regularly. Plays right back or on the line. The number 14 for Cambridge, who's had a terrific run in the Cup with 8, 13 and 13 goals respectively, but here today has been well and truly shut down. That ball has gone straight over the top, and we've got a 2-minute suspension. It was a high block, and that is the end of the game now for Ollie Tyler, his 3rd 2-minute suspension. And so it is a red card for the line player, catching the attacker in the face with his hand as he went through, probably clumsy more than ill-intentioned. But unfortunately, he has paid the price. But they will be allowed to replace him after 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy one for the referee, contact in the head like that. Unfortunate for Tyler to pick up his 3rd 2-minute suspension like that, but that'll be the end of his game, but his work's done. So
Castagna will take the penalty. Oh, and another missed penalty. The rebound goes in, though. A little bit of luck for Castagna. Straight into the keeper as he jumped, and then the lob on the back of it. Well, 6 penalty misses, I make it. No, 7 penalty misses, I think. 2 of them scored on the follow-up. That's nicely stolen by Castagna, who breaks forwards. There's 4 against 1 if they're quick about it. Oh, and the feedback drop by Castagna, and the advantage given away. And now it's 3 against 1 at the other end, and Wardle scores. First goal of the game. So second line player going in. It's Braunschweiler. And another save. Zoltik picking up where Ryšek left off, really.
Yeah, he came onside, saved a penalty, or had the post help him, saved another one just there from Castagna, and then a really good double save there from Garcia. Really did well to react after the first save to get himself back into position, make himself big, and to save the second one from 6 meters. Really, really big performance from the Warrington goalkeepers in both halves.
So still short-handed for another 25 seconds, Warrington Wolves, but it doesn't seem to have stunted the pace of their attack any, as we have just under 6 minutes remaining in the final. Wardle no way through there, he'll come back again. Nate's finding his way through, too many steps, but he was pushed in the first place anyway, gets a free throw, takes it quickly. And they are back to full strength again now, Warrington Wolves, and in on the line has gone Rok Sarje, Slovenian line player, been used sparingly this season, mind you, you would be when you've got a player of the stature of Ollie Tyler. That now is his chance to lay his claim. Well, meanwhile, Nate Green, who's been in the wars here today, takes a knock to the throat. Clock has been stopped. And play resumes again. Nate Green, well, he vents his frustration instead on the goal. It's the right way to do it, and that's number 12 for Nate Green.
Yeah, it's just been such a consistent scoring threat. Goalkeepers haven't really got on top of him at any point in the game, been able to stem the flow of goals, and it's been pretty consistent there from the left back from Warrington.
So Collins is back in the central role in defence with Tyler red carded out of the game. Got about 4 minutes remaining. That's a nice break through the middle of the defence. Duchatel is the scorer, the 28-year-old Belgian back player. And a team timeout for Warrington Wolves. Don't feel they're losing the initiative. Is it just a breather?
No, I think this might be a chance to put on a couple more of the younger players and just reorganise a little bit, put them into a little bit more, a couple more different positions defensively. But I think, yeah, certainly now 14 goal lead with 5 minutes to go, is the game is done, and yeah, I think we'll just be seeing a few more of the younger players, maybe Hamza Rais and Ed Irving coming back into the game.
Well, I'm afraid Cambridge have never really got into this game, and Warrington Wolves came out of the blocks like an absolute rocket in this final, and you got a sense very early on that it was going to be a very difficult day at the office for Cambridge. And the defence has been utterly superb throughout the game. The pace of the attack we knew was going to be quick, and it has been. And then to boot, after Ryšek had made some great saves, Deeks picked up well, but Nate Green putting 12 goals away. It has been absolutely relentless. It's the word we used earlier, and that's exactly what it's been. Well, that's absolutely right then. So Rok Sarje for the moment has gone in on the right wing, and Yabila Collins will be very pleased to see he's been given a bit of a chance to go out on the attack now on the line. And moving things around. Wardle has shifted to the left back position. The front roll in defence, Hamza Rais, you mentioned, coming on. The new crops. He's scored, mind you, 4 in the Cup this season. He has been used, sparingly, but has been used.
That's right, and another product of the youth system, playing in the Cup finals, Junior Cup finals last year, winning that, you know, comfortable on this stage, and I'm sure he'll be pleased to get some minutes in the big game.
All the way through. And just gets a free throw, looks to the referee to see if it might be a little bit more, but it's not. It is just a 9 metre. Ballester, he's tried everything, hasn't he? He's put in a lot of energy. Oh, what a stunning pass! And that's a penalty. Well, all started by Alejandro Garcia's sublime flick over the shoulder.
Yeah, really nice pass, kept his arm free and just whipped it into Malcor on the line.
Well, it's a penalty, but it's not a given for Cambridge. They've not done too well. That's put away, though, this time by Nicolas Martin, the French left winger. And I'm afraid we've got less than 3 minutes to go. And although they've hit the 20-goal mark, Cambridge, they are, I'm afraid, heading for a silver medal here. Wardle dummies the pass to the line, then tries to go around, but the ball goes across the face of the goal. Put back in by Pierre Laroffi. And all credit, though, to Cambridge that they're still powering away here. They're determined to really work on making the score as respectable as possible, and they've done well, because in the first half with just 6 goals, they've now turned that around to get 14 in the second.
Yeah, it's been a much better, much more even second half, and a good second half performance from Cambridge after, yeah, what was a really disappointing first half from them, and full credit to them. They're playing all the way to the end. Like you said, they kept up the tempo. They're not slowing the game down. They're trying to move the scoreboard as much as they can, and give themselves as much pride in the last few minutes of the game as they possibly can.
So we're into the last 2 minutes, and Nick Tan has now come on, number 3, to replace Toby Venables. He's done a superb match, Venables, hasn't he? And he's now being told, you can sit and have a rest now. I'm going to turn the bench and give the youngsters a run out.
Yeah, he's pulled the strings in attack, and as we touched on earlier in this half, really split the court well in defence and really managed to keep Cambridge on one side. And yeah, that was really, really strong. Good performance from Venables.
So the seconds ticking away here in this National Cup final, and Warrington Wolves are going to take their 6th cup title here after doing 5-year back-to-back run from 2013 to 2017. A 1-year gap when London GD won it last year, and now they are back. That's a penalty as Collins gives away the penalty. A rather anxious look there from Jacob Maxted, who got pointed to initially and looked very surprised before they realised they wanted Collins. That's his second suspension of the game, and it means his match is over, because we don't have 2 minutes left in the game. We have, in fact, just 1 minute and 1 second. Martin will take the penalty, scored the last one. And into goal has gone Jack Booth, who's playing in the under-19s final yesterday. Well, it went the right way, just didn't quite judge it right with the leg, and so that's the second goal for Nicolas Martin. And we are now well and truly tucked into the last minute of the final, and a well-deserved win for Warrington Wolves.
Yeah, very much so. Did all their work early in the game, got a really big lead up, pushed well on the fast break, a lot of good goals, and a lot of really, really good defence was the order of the day, and that's what came to fruition. And yeah, well done to Warrington on their 6th title in 7 years.
Cross there, Nick Tan, is he going to get his first of the cup final? He's got to get a free throw. No goal there, I'm afraid. 20 seconds remaining. Wardle tries to go through, and poor old Holway has taken a bit of a blow in the face in the process. The ball is loose. Cambridge have it, always down, but play on, says the referee. Chance there for Malcor, and a complete misconnect, I'm afraid. That's gone out, and that is it. And the celebrations can start in earnest. 33-21, the final scoreline. Warrington Wolves win their 6th cup title in emphatic fashion here in the Derby Arena. They dominated in defence, they dominated in attack. Cambridge really had one good spell in the second half for about 7-8 minutes when you started to think, here we go, they got 3 quick goals. And actually there was the first team timeout for Warrington, but it petered out almost immediately.
Yeah, that's right. Not able to really build the consistent scoring threat and stop Warrington at the other end. Warrington were very good in the first half, stopping Cambridge and then going quickly and scoring these cheap goals and scoring and scoring and scoring and just building up this lead. Whereas, you know, when Cambridge went on a bit of run, they weren't able to plug the gap so well at the other end, and you know they're never able to bring the gap that much closer. And you know, well deserved from Warrington. Chris McDermott got his tactics right. He stopped the 2 big shooting threats right from the start of the game, and you know they gave themselves a platform to play really, really strongly from there on in.
I mean, it says something that Alejandro Garcia, the top scorer for Cambridge with 106 goals, in fact top scorer in the Premier Handball League, and 34 in the Cup. He scored 1 penalty today, missed 4. It's just not been his day, really.
Just not his day, and you know, on games like this, when we said, although very close, some of the other games in the league encounter just there, March Garcia scored 11 goals, and you know that's the big difference. Those types of situations where you can get a lot of goals coming in from your backcourt players, would have been really, really helpful for Cambridge today. But just, your Billy Collins and Toby Venables at the front of that defence, but did a really good job of shutting down Garcia and Mayoras early on, and paved the way for them to go on from there.
I mean, it just gives you, there were two players up front on that defence. They were alternating on the front, the one to join Venables. You've just got no time to think in attack, have you? You're constantly under pressure, even when you think you're a long way out and you can look up and look at your options. You look up and all you see is a great big black and red shirt in front of you.
That's right, and Irving and Gillett were really good on the left-hand side of the defence, playing in the wing and the back positions, putting pressure on the final pass and looking to come and steal the ball and take the ball away. And when you're an attacking player and you have this pass, and like you said, you see the black and red shirts coming, you hesitate a little bit. It's not quite easy to get the connection for Cambridge, and a lot of chances to turn the ball over and play at a good speed, which is what Warrington do so well.
Well, for Cambridge, just wasn't to be their day. They lost in the league by 2 and 3 goals only against Warrington Wolves. But today, this team, which has got a few new young players coming through, and they're rebuilding a little bit with Chris McDermott, who of course took over from Bill Bailey, and working with Christian Marsh. They look quite formidable for next season in the league. I mean, during this year, they've got stronger and stronger, and they've missed out on the title. But they are looking good value maybe for next year.
Exactly, like you say, they've been very dangerous in the cup competition, these one-off games, and you see with a lot of these good young players that they can lift their performance to a very good level. Often, as you'll see with the younger players, the consistency maybe isn't quite there, and 10 points off the lead in the league, it's not quite where they want to be. But as you say, maybe in this transitional year they can then build it and come a little bit stronger and make the team a bit more consistent. If they do that, then I'm sure they could be up towards the top end, fighting for the league title again next season.
So it's been a good weekend for Warrington Wolves. Not perfect. They were in 3 of the men's final. They took the under-19s title, the National League title, that is, in the final against Nottingham yesterday, and then today they've won the National Cup final for the seniors. They did lose the under-19s league this morning, albeit after extra time. And we're now getting ready for the presentation, and a lot of smiling faces, quite understandably. And the presentation party will be made up of David Melly, the Chief Executive Officer of the England Handball Association, and Mark Fayemi, who is one of the board members of England Handball. Mark Fayemi, ironically enough, of course, he was coaching the West London Eagles team that beat Warrington Wolves under 16 in extra time in that earlier league final. So the first presentation will be placed to Tom Eckersall and Laszlo Voros, the 2 referees. Nice little commemoration for them. Did a good job here today in a fast-paced game. And so a photo and a nice little commemoration for them. And next up will be Cambridge to collect their silver medals. I mean, they are still smiling now. They know they were up against quite a formidable team, and really gave it all they could. They never gave up, and that's good. They kept their heads up and kept fighting, even though at the end it didn't take us too long to realise in the second half that it wasn't going to be their day.
No, like you say, they gave everything they absolutely could. They probably, they'll be disappointed with the first 10-15 minutes of the game where they didn't really give themselves a chance to put any pressure on Warrington, and but they worked incredibly hard and did a brilliant job to lift themselves at half time and put in a second half performance that they could be certainly a little bit more pleased with.
So Cambridge, who will look back, and we were asking coaches, spoke to Agnes Ferglein about your highlight of the year, and she said actually it was that semi-final. It was an amazing semi-final for Cambridge when they beat Manchester Hawks 35-25, but it was 20 goals to 7 at half time, and she said that will just stick as a great memory for us, because they came down there, and Manchester Hawks had been in the final before, were looking good for their money, and were never in the game, and Cambridge played superbly.
Yeah, that's right. You see again there, we talked a little bit about Garcia. He scored 10 goals in the semi-final, 13 goals in the quarter-final, 8 goals in the second round. Prolific scorer all the way through the competition. Didn't quite get to, as he gets his medal there, didn't quite get to see the threat from him in the final, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, 20 goals to 7, as you say, at half-time against a strong Manchester Hawks team who finished 3rd in the league, and they were in last year's cup final. I'm sure it was a fantastic performance and something to be proud of, and I'm sure they'll have enjoyed their day here and would have been pleased after what's been probably quite a tough season, finishing 7th in the league, to finish on a good note, and in a great game that they had today with Warrington Wolves.
So a commemorative photo then for Cambridge in the final, and enjoying their day, but realising that today they were up against an immovable object, and it was just not to be. And applause from the crowd, and they rightly deserve it, because it is, I can tell you, they will know they've been in a final. Mind you, so will Warrington Wolves. Just because they win, it doesn't make it any less painful the next morning. When you wake up, the adrenaline's worn off, and you realise that you're aching all over. Hopefully they got understanding bosses when they phoned in and said, I don't think I can actually get out of bed.
Yeah, especially a few of these younger guys, Ed Irving, Jack Booth, Ruben Ward, all played the Youth Cup finals yesterday as well. They'll have had probably a few bumps and bruises to go with a couple of medals this weekend.
So they come up to collect the medals, and several of the youngsters getting their second gold medal of the weekend there. Tande got on late in the game. Hamza Reis. Number 9 is Ed Irvine, who did a good job. And then that's Sebi Hesk, injured. He was on the bench here today. And Collins, who played that huge defensive game. And Gillett, 5 amazing goals from the wing. A big cheer there for Lee Tyler as he gets his medal. He was red carded, but 3 2-minute suspension. Then we just saw Nate Green go past, who top scored in this cup final with 12 goals. Ryan Thomas, amazing ethic. And of course there is Chris McDermott, who's taken over the GB under-20s from you. And quite a few of the players here. And Christian Marsh, the final one to get his medal. So they will come back now to collect the trophy. And as we said, they've got joint captains here. Ryan Thomas, number 6, and Toby Venables are joint captains of the team. So great celebration scenes here. Warrington Wolves are crowned Cup champions of 2019 here in Derby with a great performance.